All right, so hey, I just gave you a few minutes to work on this warm up. Let's go through and take a look at it. So, this is just some old stuff about operations with numbers. So, on number one, 2 minus 9. All right, those are opposite signs, so you should subtract. 9 minus 2 is 7, but then you take the sign of the bigger number, which is 9, so it's negative 7. All right. The second one is very similar. Negative 30 plus 10, they are opposite, so you should subtract and get 20. But then you take the sign of the bigger number, which is negative. All right. Special thing on the third one is you have minus a negative. Well, two negatives make a positive. Two negatives make a positive. Then these are the same sign, so you should just add them. And you take their sign. All right. And then the last one here, what operation is going on with the last one? Is there an addition sign?
No.
Is there a subtraction sign? So it's multiplication. Good. 3 times 5 is 15, but when they are opposite signs, one positive, one negative, it is negative 15. All right. Do we have any questions on that warm-up? Anybody get those all correct? Good. All right. Now, what we are doing today. Today is all about writing expressions in context, okay? Or if you look up there, I have translating expressions, all right? And all that means is you're going to be able to look at a mathematical expression and then write it in words, or be given one in words and write it as an expression, all right? So we're just going to be going back and forth there. Now, on your notes I gave you, they don't look identical to this. You're going to have to jot down some of the stuff that go in there, okay? So, as you look, when you are looking for words for addition, do you see the addition box on your notes? I would highly suggest that you write all of these down, okay? So, words to watch out for when you see these in a sentence or in a word problem, as we're eventually going to get, these are the type of things that should alert to you that you are dealing with adding two numbers. The first one, if it says the sum, okay? Or it could say plus, okay? Or it could say added to, all right? It could say more than. It could say increased by. Or it could say the total is, okay? Those are all words that as you are looking at expressions would mean to add things together, okay? So it could say the sum of x and 5. Well, that would be x plus 5. Could say the sum of 6 and 3. Well, that's 6 plus 3. Could say what would the total be what would the total number of people be if there were 8 boys and 6 girls? Do y'all see how all that just means to add the things together? Okay? That's what we're looking at there. Any questions on addition? Okay? Let's go to the next one. Words to look out for when you are subtracting. All right, so you have difference. You have minus. You have subtracted from. Okay? Now, the one that I want to highlight to you is the one less than. Okay? All right, now, the reason that I'm highlighting it to you is when you use the word less than, you actually have to flip the order of when you write it, okay? The example I'm going to give you is I could say you have 4 less than x, okay? 4 less than x. All right, now, what that means is what? Whatever x is, you want 4 less than that. Here's the thing that students always write. Students all the time will come down here and write, all right, well, that's just 4 minus x. Well, guess what? That is incorrect. You need to do x minus 4 because that means you have x, you are less than 4 less than x. So all that means is you have to flip your numbers around. Are y'all with me? Okay? That's different than, hey, what is 4 minus x? Well, 4 minus x would just be 4 minus x. You literally write that down. All right, now the other words that you could see is you could see decreased by or you could see less. okay? But when you see the word less than is the key one. That's the hardest one for students. Questions? Okay. All right, well, let's keep moving on. Look at this next one. Words to look for. Multiplication. All right. Words that tell you need to multiply. If they tell you that something is a product of, okay, so product, or they could say times, 6 times 3, or they could say multiply. You want to multiply x and y. All right. Other things that you could use, all right, are words that give a number of times something happens. For example, the word twice means 2 times whatever. Okay, so that's 2 times. Double also means 2 times. What would triple mean? 3 times. Okay, and that should say, and now the other one is the word of. They tell you that this is of something or the product of something. Okay, but these are all words that mean you want to multiply. And then the last one to look at is the one that is division. Okay, and when you use division, the term quotient, okay, because the quotient is the answer when you divide two things. You could have divided by. You could have into, per, divide, and ratio. All right, so any of these words would tell you that you want to use division when looking at the expressions that you are translating. All right, and again, to translate an expression just simply means to take the expression and write it in words, or go the opposite way. You're given words and you need to write the expression. Okay, so does anybody have any questions on any of the thing for addition, subtraction, multiplication, or division? Okay, nothing. All right, now, then on the front side of this, there should be some space for you to complete some, excuse me, I was jumping the gun. There's one last thing. Words to look for when we are trying to say that things are equal. Okay, okay, you could use the word gives, okay, as in x plus 6 gives us 8 or something like that. The word is means equal. Could say yields. Two things yield to an amount, something. This amounts to is the same as, is equal to, was, and should be. Now, I'll be honest, we're not going to use all of these. The main ones that I like are the one are is the same as, is equal to. Those are all ones that should be very similar, okay? Those are the ones that you are going to see when you are dealing with things that are equal, okay? So, questions on that? Feeling good? All right, well, let's go look at examples, okay? So here are us trying to translate some. So you can feel free to just watch these. If you want to jot them down, you can as well. This first one, we are given the words and we need to make the expression. So what it says is 2 more than a number. Okay? Well, as you're looking at this, the things that should stick out to you are what they're using. To me, what sticks out is it says more than. Well, more than means what? Add. You are absolutely correct. Now, we know that it is going to be 2 more than a number. Well, what do we know what that number is? So what do we call it when we don't know? Yeah, you can call it N. You can call it the letter N. You can call it X. You can call it Y. You can call it whatever you want to. I'm partial to X, but since Jordan said it, let's use N. So it would be 2 plus N. Now, I do have one question for you. Does it have to be written that way? No. Could it also be written as N plus 2? Is that the same thing? Yeah, This is the exact same thing. Remember, addition can be moved around. Okay, it can be symmetric. All right, so you can move that order around. It doesn't really matter. Okay. Any questions on those? Is that example? We okay? All right, our next example. Okay. This is the tricky one. 5 less than a number. I actually gave you an example like this. So I see the word less than, that automatically tells me we should be doing what? Yeah, subtraction. Okay, now, the issue is it says 5 less than a number. Okay, well, when you see the word less than, that should tell you to flip the numbers. Okay, so what does that mean goes first? The letter or the number N, because we don't know what it is. All right, what do y'all need a visual of what I mean by flip them? I means I want a number to go first and 5 to go second. Okay? So it's this part will go first in the equation, this part will go second. That's what I mean by flip them. So now I've got a number N, less than means minus, and the number it was 5. And that is the only way that you can write this. Okay? Questions on that? Good. All right, let's look at number 10. 7 times a number. Okay? Well, what does times mean? Times does mean multiplication. Perfect. So, 7 times a number would be 7 times n. Now, I want to show you something. That is not the only way you could write that. Okay? You could also write it as just 7n. You could also write it 7 parentheses n. You could also write it as 7 in parentheses, n in parentheses. All right, but all of those are ways and options to write 7 times a number. Okay, again though, do you have to use the letter N? No, you can use any letter you want. Okay? Everybody good with that? All right, let's keep moving here. A number decreased by 9. All right, now, this is a great example that I want to talk about. Decreased obviously means subtraction. Okay, now, does it use the word less than? No. So do we have to flip our two things? No, you just write it as is. A number, we'll call that n, is decreased by 9. All right. It is that simple. That one's a little bit different, okay, because it just uses decreased. All right, less than makes you flip your order. But here you can just read it straight out. Y'all good? All right, now let's try translating in the opposite direction. Yes, ma'am. Oh, give it to me. Perfect. 2 times a number. Perfect. So we just got a great one. There are several things here. Here you can see it says 2 times n. All right. And what y'all just told me was you could do 2 times a number. That is absolutely correct. 2 times a number. Does anybody else think they can give me a different way? 2 times n. Perfect. 2 times n. Anybody think they got another one? Could you say 2 multiplied by n?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You say twice.
You could add, thank you. Perfect. Look at you, Hayden, being so smart. You could simply just say twice n. Okay. Another one that I like is you could say the product of 2 and n. All right, that's a lot of examples. Now, you don't always have to list out all your examples. I'm just giving you a bunch of different ones that it could be, all right? But yeah, that is great. Y'all gave me 4 out of those, and then I just picked one that I like. What's up?
Could you do like 2 of n or something?
You technically could do 2 of n. It's just kind of, I don't like the word of. Of does mean multiply, but that's kind of the one that's used the least. But technically, you're right. Yeah, you could say 2 of n. All right. So, any questions on that? Just giving you several different examples. Let's look at the next one. Here we go. X plus 6. Somebody give me one. Literally, you could say how I just read it to you. X plus 6. Thank you so much. You could say X plus 6. Somebody have a different one?
6 plus a number.
Huh?
6 plus a number.
6 plus a number, sure. 6 plus a number.
6 by a number? Yeah.
I don't like that one. No. You could say the sum of 6 and a number. You could also say 6 more than a number. Okay? Those are all clear, nice and easy. All right? Anybody got any questions on those? All right. Ooh, here is my favorite. It deals with subtraction. All right, give me some.
A minus 13.
A minus 13. That is correct.
A less than 13.
Ooh, thank you for saying that. Say it again. You just said A less than.
13.
Guess what? Don't write that down because that is incorrect.
You gotta switch it.
You've got to switch it. It would be 13 less than A. All right? Always got to be careful with that one. Say it.
Can you also say 13 minus a number?
No, it would have to be a number minus 13. Okay? So that other one would be we said, let me erase that. We said a number minus 13. Okay? You could say A decreased by 13. You could say A subtract 13. Yeah. Yeah, you could also say A subtract 13. Okay? All of those are good, but the main one I wanted to highlight was the one right here where you've got to make sure when you use less than that you flip it. Okay? I wrote it wrong on purpose to make sure that you know you have to flip it. All right. And then our last example, 3y. 3 times y. Good. Can't use double here.
No, not at all.
Not at all. What can you use though? It's a 3, so you could say triple y. Could say the product of 3 and y. Anybody else got another one? You could say 3 multiplied by y. Absolutely. All of those would work and are options that you could make happen. Okay? All right. So those are your notes. Those are your examples. If you flip over to the back of this page, you will see you have homework to try on this. Okay? So what I want you to do is try that. You do not have to upload it to Canvas. All right? Now, where we're going, the next 2 days, we're going to work on writing these same kind of translating expressions from word problems. Okay? Then Wednesday we'll evaluate. Evaluate is a fancy word. Excuse me. Thursday we'll evaluate. Evaluate is a fancy word for solve. No, go away. All right, so Thursday, like I said, we will evaluate. And then Friday, we will have our quiz. All right, so let me know if you got any questions.